Welcome to the Christian Life Coach Podcast. I'm Shanna, your Christian life coach. I help women who feel overwhelmed, stretched thin, or stuck in patterns that don't match the life God created them for. If you've ever felt that quiet tug, that sense that you were made for more than how you're living right now, that's not your imagination. That's your spirit craving alignment, peace, and purpose. Here, we start with identity, because when you know who you are in Christ, you know how to show up. We talk renewed thoughts, simple habits, emotional resilience, and sustainable rhythms that keep you out of survival mode and help you to start living with intention and courage. Jesus said, "You are salt and you are light." That means you were created to live differently and to shine differently from the inside out. If you're ready to grow, to simplify, and to become the woman God designed you to be, you're in the right place. Life coaching is life changing, one renewed thought at a time. Let's do this together. Welcome to episode 57 of the Christian Life Coach Podcast. I'm so glad you're here. So many people believe that the solution to procrastination is motivation. They think that if they just felt a little more inspired or more energized, they would finally be able to follow through. But motivation is unreliable. It shows up when it feels like it, or when you generate it by the way that you're thinking. And it disappears the moment something feels uncomfortable. The women who consistently take action are not waiting to feel motivated. They have practiced following through until it's just a part of who they are. And today we're going to talk about how to build that habit. So, first of all, to recap what we've covered so far in March is we talked about why you're not taking action. If you're not taking action, maybe you're taking action. That's great. Keep going. That's fabulous. But for those of us who have areas in our life where we're not doing what we know would move us in the direction that we want to be going, um, the reason that we're not taking action is the motivational triad. Our brain is wired to seek pleasure, avoid pain, and conserve energy. So our brain is always going to try to talk us out of being uncomfortable, of taking effort, of doing something that we don't really want to do right then. So the motivational triad is one of the main reasons that we don't do what we say we're going to do. And then episode 2, last week's episode, we talked about why does taking action even matter, and how your action is a direct result of what you believe to be true, and your action also shapes your identity. And every action you take creates evidence of who you're becoming, which then strengthens your belief, which transforms your identity. So your habits reveal what you believe about yourself. Today, we are going to shift into a more practical topic of how do you actually build the habit of taking action? And the first thing is start where you're at. Start where you're at. My philosophy is start where you're at, do what you're willing to do consistently, and do it from a place of love. And I'm just going to take a quick moment here to remind you, or to tell you for the first time if you did not know. If you're watching on video, I'm holding up a copy of my book, Self-Care is Stewardship, a 31-day devotional. And it is all about this concept of starting where you are, commit to what you're willing to do consistently, and do it all from a place of love, from a place of being fully known and fully loved by God. And this is a 31 devotional about self-care. And if self-care, health, exercise, any kind of self-care is something that you want to focus on, be sure to get a copy of my book, Self-Care is Stewardship, a 31-day devotional. And the link for that is in the show notes, along with a link to my planner that I also created. It's called Life on Purpose Planner, and it's a 90-day planner, also in the show notes. And again, pretty much everything I do is to reinforce who God says you are and to take action from that and um, to do what matters, to live on purpose, to take care of yourself from a place of love so that you can fulfill your purpose in loving your neighbor as yourself, showing up as who God fully created you to be, and to do amazing things with your life. So that was, thank you for allowing that little side note promotion, which I absolutely, so believe in those products and they reinforce everything that I teach. So most of us fail at our habits, fail at doing what we say we're going to do, what we want to do, creating what we want to create in our life because we start too big. We think that we're going to just completely change overnight, and our brain sees a massive change and immediately says, nope, too much, too much, too much, too much. Remember the motivational triad. Your brain wants to conserve energy. Your brain wants you to use as little energy as possible. So when it feels overwhelming, when it seems like it's too much, resistance is going to show up. And resistance is going to show up anyway. And that is a whole practice in itself. But this is why one of the most important principles that I teach is to start where you're at, commit to what you're willing to do consistently, and do it from a place of love. It's not doing what sounds impressive, not doing what someone else is doing, and also not doing what you used to be able to do. So starting where you're at it's about not trying to be somebody else, not comparing yourself to what somebody else is doing and try to do what they're doing now. It's also about acknowledging that maybe last year, maybe 6 months ago, maybe 10 years ago, I was at a different place. I was at a different level of consistency. I was doing things at a higher intensity. Maybe you were training to run a marathon and you were embracing your identity as a marathon runner, and that was 12 years ago. And today you're not very active, but you want to be. You want to become a person who moves their body every day and takes care of themselves and generates energy and feels better and all of those things. But you're not going to go out and run a marathon today. You did it 12 years ago, but if you haven't been running, if you haven't been practicing, if you haven't been building up to that, then you lose that you lose that ability because you haven't been in training. So where are you today? What do you want to commit to doing today that you're willing to do consistently, and consistently is going to be smaller than we think. It's going to be doing something smaller than what we think. So what are we actually willing to do consistently where we're at right now? And absolutely build back up. If you want to run a marathon, build back up to that. Start practicing wherever you're at so that you can build up to be able to do that marathon. So it might be where you're at that A daily 5-minute walk is what you're willing to do consistently. Maybe it's reading one page of a book each day. Maybe it's doing focus time for 10 minutes a day. Maybe it's starting your morning out with a glass of water every day. The goal in the beginning is consistency. It's not intensity. But as you build the consistency, then you can increase your intensity. So the goal is consistency. And then the consistency creates evidence of who you're becoming, of being a person that is willing to do the thing, even when resistance shows up. You're creating evidence of who you're becoming. That evidence is building belief, and your belief shapes your identity. So, number one is start where you're at. Start where you're at, do what you're willing to do consistently, and do it from a place of love. And this is just going to reinforce last week's teaching, but decide who you are becoming. Habits stick when they're connected to identity. This is who I'm becoming. I don't just want to brush my teeth every day. I am a person that takes care of her body. And most people, again, I talked about it last week, approach habits from a goal perspective. They're focused on the goal. I want to exercise because I want to lose weight. I want to take time to read. I want to eat healthier. But rooting those habits to your identity, it just shifts the wording a little bit. And I really do believe that semantics matters. How we say things matter. Words matter. An identity-based habit or identity-based goal sounds like I am becoming a woman who takes care of her body. I am a reader. I am someone who keeps her word. And then your brain naturally goes to work to create alignment with what you're saying about yourself and what you're actually doing to make it true. And this is why small actions matter. They're not just behaviors, they're evidence. And then when you're telling your brain, I am a woman who keeps her word, your brain is going to work to find evidence of where that's true and then to create more of it, to create more evidence. That evidence strengthens your belief, and the belief shapes who you are. So, number one, start where you're at. Number two, decide who you are becoming and remind yourself, I am a woman who takes care of herself. I steward my resources well. I follow through. I do what I say I'm going to do. And then number three, follow through consistently. And again, the goal is not perfection. The goal is evidence. Each time you take that consistent action, you are creating more evidence. You're building a case for yourself. Every time you follow through, you collect more proof. Proof that you keep your word, proof that you follow through, proof that you do hard things. Hard is not an excuse, it's a reason. Keep going. We are created to do hard things. And confidence. So, confidence is interesting because you can generate the feeling of confidence by the way that you're thinking. You also gain confidence when you have built up evidence for yourself. Because as you're doing the thing consistently, as you're doing the hard thing, as you're being consistent, you're building evidence, and that changes the way that you think about yourself, which then in turn builds confidence. The more evidence you collect, the stronger your identity becomes. In either way. So we want to be doing this on purpose. We want to be collecting evidence for the person that we want to be. for that identity that we want to live out. So the more evidence you collect, the stronger your identity becomes. And this is how habits are formed through repeated follow through. Practice, 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 not the intensity. We start small with consistency, a small amount of time, a small amount of weight, a small amount of whatever. Get consistent, and then you can increase the time. You can increase the level at which you're doing it. You can increase the weights. But if you build the consistency first, that builds the evidence for the person that you're becoming, and then you can increase the intensity of it. And I'm going to keep saying this. I'm probably going to say it every episode. As Christian women, we're not building habits. We're not doing anything in an effort to prove our worth or to earn our worth. Our worth is already settled. It's a done deal. Whether you believe it or not, it's a done deal. So, acting from that belief that I am worth what Jesus said I was worth. I am loved. I am fully loved. I am fully known. So our worth is settled. We're not trying to prove it. We're not trying to earn it. But we are called to stewardship. We are called to take care of our resources and to invest in them. We're called to steward our time and our bodies, our energy, our resources, our abilities. And then, so taking action, doing these things becomes acts of stewardship. Faithful follow through, excuse me, in the small things. So again, choose one action that you've been avoiding. What is it that you keep saying, I need to do that. I should be doing that. I want to be doing that at some point. And ask yourself, who do I want to be? Who am I becoming? What is the smallest version of this action that I can start taking today? And when will I do it? So, who do I want to become? Who am I working on becoming? What is the smallest version of that action that you could start taking to create consistency? And when are you going to do it? Where does it fit into your day, into your week? Start where you're at. Commit to what you're willing to do consistently from a place of love, and then follow through. And as you follow through, you're creating evidence for who you want to be. So start where you're at, decide who you're becoming, and follow through consistently. That is how the habit of action is built. You're not going to become a disciplined woman overnight. You become disciplined by practicing discipline each day. One action, one decision, one renewed thought at a time. And remember that life coaching is life changing, that one renewed thought at a time. Thank you so much for being here. I would love to hear how this is helping for you, how helpful for you, how this lands. Would love to know, what are you working on? Who are you becoming? What is that start where you're at action that you're willing to commit to consistently? Reach out. Also, if you would be so kind, I would greatly appreciate it if you would follow, subscribe, rate and review the podcast. 5 stars would be greatly appreciated. Wherever you're listening or watching, any kind of positive reinforcement helps get the show pushed out to more people. So I greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much.